So it's that time of the season again. The Indian football season with ISL is coming to an end. This was a historic season. Why do I say so? Because it's the first time that the three Kolkata giants, Mohun Bagan, East Bengal and Mohammedan, played the ISL together. It was not only a great sign for Indian football, but also for crores of fans of these three clubs. Everyone thought they would see some brilliant football and most importantly the fierce rivalry. However, reality is very different from a fairy tale. Only one club lived up to the expectations and the two others not so much. Mohun Bagan have been one of the most successful teams in the history of ISL. East Bengal have been trying to catch up ever since they joined the ISL. And for Mohammedan, it was a debut season that they would like to forget very soon. Let's look at how the three clubs have performed so far in their limited time in the ISL. Mohun Bagan have not only been the best team in Kolkata, but arguably one of the best in the history of ISL. But we must also consider the fact that Mohun Bagan started its ISL campaign on a very strong foundation. It was initially acquired by ATK, and in the first season the team was known as ATK Mohun Bagan. Mohun Bagan entered the ISL in the 2020-21 season, and just in the season before, that is the 2019-20 season, ATK was the champion. So the champion team and all the coaching staff overnight became ATK Mohun Bagan, and that team played the final. In the next season, they played the semi-finals. But the Mohun Bagan management were not satisfied with it. Winning coach Antonio Lopez Lapas and roped in one Ferrando. Ferrando then led Mohun Bagan to the ISL glory. But the next season, when Ferrando failed to retain the title with Mohun Bagan, he was axed as well. This is the standard that Mohun Bagan has set. So while it is true that Mohun Bagan started on a strong foundation, what is also true is that the Mohun Bagan management feel only winning trophy means success. Anything less than that is a cardinal sin in Mohun Bagan today. Look what their decision has done. In this season, under Jose Molina, they have been the best team in the league by far. They have conceded the least number of goals and scored the most number of goals. And with players such as Jason Cummings, Greg Stewart, Jamie McLaren, Petratos, watching Mohun Bagan has been a treat. They score goals for fun. And rightly so, they finished the league 8 points above second placed FC Goa. On the other hand, their arch rivals East Bengal, they joined the ISL season in the same year, that is in the 2021 season. But for them, ISL has been a long and dark tunnel with no light at the end of it. East Bengal has been playing the catch-up game only. In the first season, they finished the league at 9th out of the 11 teams that played then. They had a horrific season the next time round. They finished last. And in the next two seasons, they finished 9th again. And while all their struggles on the field were apparent, the club was also facing massive challenges off the field. When East Bengal entered ISL, they had an investor. 2 seasons later, they severed their ties with that investor and roped in a new investor, hoping that things would change. But the footballing gods never looked kindly at East Bengal. But things did start to look a little bit better for East Bengal in the 2023 and 24 season. At the very beginning of it, East Bengal beat Mohun Bagan in a Durand Cup derby. It was the club's first derby win over their arch rival Mohun Bagan since joining the ISL. East Bengal eventually lost the Durand Cup derby to Mohun Bagan, but they were in the mix to finish the ISL season in top 6 and earn a playoff spot, even though they did not. But that being in that race gave fans something to cheer for. And then came the most glorious moments of all. Under Carles Cuadrat, East Bengal lifted the Super Cup, and this Super Cup victory gave East Bengal a chance to play in the AFC Cup. And considering all this, the club management decided to go all in for this 2024-25 season. They spent a lot of money, brought in players such as Diamond Takos, who was the last season's highest goal scorer, and Madi Talal, who was last season's highest assist provider. And then they made the statement signing of Anwar Ali from Mohun Bagan. We all know the off-the-field saga of it. This East Bengal looked like the old East Bengal that everyone knows. This East Bengal was roaring and ready to fight. But then again, the 2024-25 season was a season that fans thought they will achieve a lot of things, but nothing came to fruition. East Bengal began their campaign with 4 straight losses in the ISL, which led to the sacking of their loved coach Carles Cuadrat. Oscar Bruzo was roped in hours ahead of their derby against Mohun Bagan, and East Bengal lost it. East Bengal lost their next league match as well, but then Oscar Bruzo initiated what looked like a comeback. Back-to-back wins in the ISL and also success in the AFC Challenge League, that the Red and Gold Brigade was starting to show its true potential this season. But that's exactly when East Bengal were dragged into the mud again. One injury crisis after another hit the team. Senior players like Saul Crespo, Jigsan Singh, Diamantakos, and most unfortunate Madhi Talal. All these players spent considerable time out of the field, and Madhi Talal ended his season prematurely after sustaining an ACL injury. So many injuries meant that Oscar Bruzo never had a core set of players to build his team around. He tried his best with the limited resources at hand, but he could not stop the inevitable, and East Bengal could not find a spot in the knockouts. The other club from Kolkata, Mohammedan, who was playing its first ISL, had lots of hopes and optimism, and fans were expecting that the black and white brigade will achieve something. And they did start the season on a positive note with a win and a draw in their first 3 games. But then Mohammedan never looked very comfortable in the top tier. While it was expected, what was not expected was everything that happened around the club outside the football field. In December, players suddenly boycotted practice session ahead of an important match against Chennai FC, claiming that they had not been paid their salaries. This shocked everyone. Emergency meetings between club and investors could not pacify the things. Few days later, coach Andriy Chernyshov resigned with the same claim that his salary had not been paid. Meanwhile, Bunker Hill Private Limited, an investor in the club since 2020, released a press statement saying that the club officials had not transferred the 61% share that they were supposed to transfer to Bunker Hill Private Limited before the start of the ISL season. Another investor, Shrachi, they also joined in, said that they also had not received their shares. Shrachi had apparently bought a portion of 61% shares from Bunker Hill, and since Bunker Hill had not received its share, they could not transfer it to Shrachi either. All these things ensured that Mohammedan's fortune on the field suffered more. After the departure of Andriy Chernyshov, they failed to win any match in ISL. And eventually, they finished the league last. What do Mohammedan do? We don't know. But we can certainly tell that Mohammedan, and to some extent East Bengal as well, should look at their neighbors to see how a football club must be run in the era of ISL. After all, Indian football needs the 3 Kolkata giants. But the clubs of Kolkata must also respect this fact that Indian football needs them. They must learn a trick or two from Mohun Bagan to see how a football team, how a football club needs to be operated in this era. We can only hope that next season all the 3 clubs play together, and Mohammedan and East Bengal don't just play just for their mere presence at the top tier, but they play to dominate, they play to justify the brand name, the history, the legacy that they have earned over hundreds of years. This is Niladry Sarkar reporting with Sholil Vera from Kolkata.